this is Leah from Mommyish, and today I'm going to give a tutorial on customizing your workspace as a digital scrapbooker or a digital scrapbook designer, or I guess just any designer really. A lot of times whenever we're in Photoshop, we tend to keep things the way that they've come to us in. This is our typical setup right now of Photoshop whenever you load it. This is the Creative Cloud 2014 version. It has our main tools on the left hand side. On the right hand side are our colors, swatches, adjustments, styles, layers, channels, paths, as you see here in their little tabs. And we have our tool options and our history. So the next part then being, well, how do we change this? Well, I'm sure you've noticed that you can technically drag any of this around. You can move it up and down. I'm like, move it up or down, or hide it completely. I'm going to take it here and bring it to my right side because I'm right-handed and I like having everything on one side. And actually, if you're a convert, I guess, from Photoshop Elements and upgraded to full version Photoshop, you're probably more accustomed to having a layout similar to this where all your tools are on your right-hand side and then the left-hand side is then empty. I could see how this would be helpful as well. If you were left-handed, you might prefer having all of your tools on the left side, just like that. In fact, I might even like that. So who knows? Let's try something new, huh? I'm going to do it this way this time. Change my setup a little bit because I'm noticing that I can read it better. I have a vision problem actually where I only have really good use with one eye. So fun little fact. Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun fact. My God, I must be boring if that's fun, right? As you see, if I unlock it from the side, you can drag and place these palettes anywhere you want. So you're really not married to having them anywhere. It's not permanent. So you can just, but I like clipping it too. I like having a defined workspace area. All right, so once I've looked at this, I am going to scale down some of the size of the tabs. I like having swatches in front of color because I tend to work with swatches more than the color picker. Adjustments, I move that into it has its own little home, and then I pull styles down so it has its own little tabbed area. I leave layers, channels, and paths alone. We keep them where they are. And I then once before, and I might do it again this time, is I take my properties panel and move it here with adjustments. So I have adjustments and I have properties. So what properties does is it pulls up information whenever you're choosing a new tool. For example, like the shape tool. It might only work though when we have a document. So let's go ahead and open up a document. I'm going to do this 3 by 3. This is another area where you can set up preferences. I like starting with transparent backgrounds. I make sure it has RGB color, 300 pixels per inch. And you can save this preset. So let's say if you're normally working with a 12 by 12 area, you can save your preset as 12 by 12 inch, whatever, hit OK. And then, you can name your thing. So this is just going to be tutorial. And I'm going to choose OK. So now we have our brand new document opened up, our tutorial document. We see here our layers there. Now I'm going to go ahead, pull out my shape tool for the heck of it, create a square. Yay! And as you see there, as I've made my shape, my properties palette here has just totally lit up, and it's letting me make lots of choices if I want to. So actually, I think I want to have this be its own thing. I'm pretty happy with it, so we want him to feel special. He's like, yay, I'm independent. All right, though I like my styles above that, so let's put styles above adjustments. I like to always be able to see my styles. So, all right, so what's next? Let's see. This is going to take some getting used to. I'm not used to having everything on this side, but I can read it so much better. Yay! Actually, I think I'd like it better if I had my these tools in front of that instead. And actually, we're going to move history over here because I'm going to put actions with that. So now all I'm doing is I'm taking this and dragging it to get it to lock on the side there, just like that. And oh, wow, I think I really do like this, actually. I'm like, ooh, wow, I didn't know what I was doing. I swear, I've kind of gone through this myself for you in advance, I promise. But I do tend to play around quite a bit. But anyway, the next thing I do is I go to Window and I choose out more tools that I use often. For example, character and character styles. I like to always have this on hand. I always have out actions. And you see actions just went with history. So they're happy together. It's probably why it always made sense, is because that's how it was. Brushes and the brush presets, also very important. Like to have those out all the time. And let's see, what else do I like to have out? I just kind of look through. We have color. We have our brushes. Yeah, I think I like this. Now, we could take this area. Oops. You know me, I'm like pulling the whole thing, messing it all up for you. Just for you. I mess up things for you, just you guys. It doesn't let you add anything more to the essentials palette area, if that makes sense. So I'm going to create the secondary area here and drag these tools there, because I want all these kind of icon tools together, and then I want all my tabbed out styles and things like that in their own area. You can always adjust the width, but you guys know that. You see there, you can make it a little thinner, thicker, whatever. I think right there is going to be good for me. And as I look at my properties, I'm like, you know what? I'm putting you back with adjustments. You guys belong together. Sorry. All right. And then I have my layers here at the bottom, because who cares about layers, right? It's not like that's how we build everything. Okay, now I have these default styles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my preset manager. I'm going to delete the styles that are here because I don't want them. And I always save different presets of my styles that I use often. Depending on the project, I just save it as something specific. Typically, though, I save it as a date. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my folder, and you'll see here it says backups, and my backups have specific styles presets that I've saved. So this one's from today. And as I click that, it's going to load up those styles that I want to have, and I'm going to hit done. So that's an easy way. You can do it per project or whatever. I know it's really difficult to organize styles, but this is one way that you can do it. So what you do is you load the different styles, you go to your preset manager, and then whenever you have everything you want, you're just going to select all of them by holding down your shift key and then like going from the first to the last, and then save your set as whatever you're going to remember. All right, so little tip with that. So let's see, what are we going to do with this guy? He's like, nothing selected. Choose the layer. There we go. So I'm going to just create a new layer. Delete this guy because we don't like him anymore. We don't need him. That's right, ladies. We don't need that square. We don't need squares. We're way cooler than that. I also learned something by accident. Is when I was using my paint bucket tool, I found out that if I had my paint bucket tool selected and I was holding down my shift key, I could change the color of my my background of the area that I was working, you know, like the background itself, not the graphic that you're working on. I find this helpful because I personally find the dark background to provide too much contrast, and that it sometimes hurts my eyes. So I like to change it to be a little lighter. So again, all you do is you hold down your shift key, take out your paint bucket tool, and ta-da! You could probably even change that by going to edit and then going to your preferences. Now this is another area that we tend to not play around much. But if you ever go in here, you'll notice that there's a lot of settings that you can change how your interface looks. Like this is the color theme. We can change it to be lighter or darker. It defaults on a pretty dark, but I think it used to be a bit lighter. You can even create your own more custom color theme, I guess. Changing it that we want drop shadows or no drop shadows, none. You can just really have fun with it. Another thing that you can do is that I find that's neat is the transparency and gamut warnings. Sometimes as designers we forget about gamut. It tells us if something's going to print nicely or not within our typical printer. Right now the gamut warning is set to a gray, so if you see it, it's just gray, but if you changed it to something like a bright red, that might be a little more stark and be like, oh no, it's not working. But not saying you should do that. You can also change how your as you see, a transparent background looks. Look, they even have red. Isn't it cute? Orange. It's very Halloween-y. But the default is light. Your lines and rulers or your guides here, these are pretty specific colors. I like to keep these because it's what I'm accustomed to, but you can always change these settings. You can also fix your brush tip shapes here if you want to see the full brush tip, if you just want to see a little crosshair in the middle with it, things like that. Do we want precise cursors, standard cursors? I think I like the precise. And the brush preview color is in red. That's interesting. We should change it to black. What do you think? Okay, so that's it. I know this hasn't been a very long tutorial, but hopefully it's been somewhat helpful for you. Don't be afraid to drag and drop things around to get an area that's going to be really helpful for you and good for your workflow. And also, after you have it all set up, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Window, Workspace, and you're going to go to New Workspace, and you're going to save it as DigiScrap Light. I can't even I'm like, yeah, I can't even see. That's helpful. Goodness gracious, I lost my glasses. Anyway, not that y'all care. So here we are. This is how I've set up my new Photoshop, and hopefully I'll get used to it, but I really like that I can read everything that's over here much more clearly. So have a great day, and bye-bye.